So today's session is managing network security. In this, we will discuss about all the firewall. So what is firewall? That I have already told you what is firewall. Gitu.
Yes, sir.
Last discuss about the firewall also.
Yes, sir.
So tell me about this.
Sir, basically, you only told us that it actually monitors the what traffic is going, what traffic is coming, and what traffic is going outside, and it decides that whether we have to allow it to access our system or not using the certain set of rules of security.
Good. So firewall just it can be a software firewall and it can be a hardware firewall. But in this, we will discuss about the software firewall. So it's a part of your operating system. So firewall it's a security that provide the monitoring functionality. That can be an incoming packet, that can be your outgoing packet. All types of packet you can filter. And by using this particular firewall, we can decide which packet is going to outside and incoming. You can also allow this and you can also block this particular traffic. So any types of traffic that can be an incoming traffic, that can be outgoing traffic. So you can allow this and you can block this. So the firewall can be hardware and it can be a software. But in RHL 8, we discuss about the IP tables and the second one is firewall D. So these are the functionality that come in RHL 8. IP tables, that is a part of old version RHL 6. What in this we will discuss that present in RHL 7 and RHL 8 also. So in this, all the concept will be discussed about the firewall D. So what is firewall D? So this is the firewall D. Firewall D, it's a dynamic firewall D manager. So all types of traffic we can manage by using this particular manager. And in this we discuss NF tables also. But in the earlier session, in the earlier OS, we can also discuss about the IP tables. So that is IP table. In RHEL 8, firewall D is the latest concept. So in this firewall D, we can apply the rules for incoming, for the outgoing, by using which particular commands. These are the commands that I discussed the last session. These were. This is the command firewall -cmd. This is a command line utility by which we can manage all types of traffics. We can manage the targets, we can block ICMP packet, interface, sources, services. So by default, this service is allowed by using the firewall. It means firewall D. There is no ports allowed, protocols. We can also enable the masquerading, port forwarding also, and source port. What ports you want to allow, and ICMP. And we can also implement the rich rules. Rich rule just like the that is used in firewall, that is just see this one. We can apply rules in Windows also. So this is just Windows Defender. And in this, if we want to apply the another rules, so goes to this particular session. So these are called incoming rules, outgoing rules, connectivity, monitoring, all types of things can be discussed in Windows firewall with advanced security. So like this way that is used in Windows, we used in Linux, that is called rules. So we can apply the rules in this. these are the called rich rules. So in this we use rich rules, while in Windows we use advanced firewall with advanced security. Same functionality is that. So in this, all the functionality is covered by using the zones. That is called zone. So in this is the command and this is the functionality. It means it's called firewall manager, by which we can manage all types of traffic. And we can also use this in a graphical mode also. But this mode that is by default not enabled in RHEL 8. If you want to enable this, so you can do this also. So these are the concepts that is called web console. In a graphical, if we want to manage this, so it's called web console. So web console functionality and CMD functionality. But in this, we only discuss about firewall-CMD only tools. So this is the tool that is a utility that control all types of traffic. So these are the functionality. So default configuration for the zones. Zone in the sense, so these are the predefined zones. See, that is called domain profile, private profile, public profile. These are also known as the zones also. In the same way, in this, that is called trusted zone, home zone, internal zone, work zone, public zone, external zone, DMZ. So this is the most important in this. And the block zone also, drops. So these are all the zones. Zones are used to manage the services. So these are the predefined zones that you can use. So some are the trusted zones. So these all concepts I will discuss this first practically, then I will show the theoretical portions. It have lot of theory. So read this one, then I will tell you. So first I will show you one practical, then I will discuss about the theoretical portion. See, so this is command, firewall, then just type 2 times tab. So this is firewall D, it's a daemon, and this is the command, -CMD. See, if I type just enter, then 2 times tab, then type just 2 times hyphen. So these are all the commands. See this one. If you want to add the firewall ports, so we can add also. If we want to add the ICMP block, so these are lot of things. If you want to add the ports, protocol, rich rules, services, source. So these are all the functionality related to the add. If you want to check other thing, just like these are all the functionality related. So these are the commands related to the add. If you want to list, so see this one also list. So how many commands related to the list? These are all the commands related to the list. So first we should know how many zones in this. So you can use this particular command. So see here, all zones. So these. So these are the zones that are predefined. It means if you use this from the first line. See here, this is the command, and this is the default block zone. In this, all the rules are rejected. See, it means any target that come in this particular network, that is rejected. So there is no source allowed. It means target. There is no target. In the block zone, all the services for any target that are rejected. So there is no source allowed. There is no service allowed. So there is nothing. If I enable this particular zone, it means all the services are blocked by default. So we should know how many zones are available. So this is the concept related to the block. See this one, DMZ. This is the default, and only the SSH services allowed in this. See this one. And there is no rules allowed other related to protocol, ports, masquerading, forward, source, ICMP rich rules. So these are all the, this is the drop zone, but that is the default zone, that is public zone. This is the home zone. So there's a lot of things allowed. See here, SSH is also allowed, ASAMA, MDNS, client, cockpit, these all things allowed. Internal, lot of things you can see, but these are not the default zone. So this is the active zone. At this time, what is the active zone in my machine? So that is public zone. This is the default zone, and this is my interface. See, if I want to check what is my interface, device status, you can see. So this is my interface. It means it's my LAN card. So this is the default zone. It means only this particular interface can send the incoming traffic and send the outgoing traffic. So all the control is handled by this particular interface card. There is no source allowed. It means what is the range of my IP address? NMCLI connection. So, and this is my interface. So what is the IP address? So this is the IP address. It means what types of address we want to allow. So we can also apply in this particular source portion. If we want to apply any particular source, so we can define this. So that particular source will be allowed. But only one service that is by default allowed, that is called secure shell. Cockpit, it's a graphical dev functionality, and this is called the client functionality of DSCP version 6. So these three services are allowed by default in public zone. No ports allowed, protocols. So in this only we discuss these two things, services and ports. So see, this is the first command, list all. It means related to these all things that this is the second command. If we want to check all the zones related information, so we can use this one. So all the things that is rejected. And what is the third command? This one. If we want to list all the forward port, it means if any forward port that is allowed in your firewall, you can check. You can also list the interface also. You can also list the port also. But by default, there is no port. It means port number allowed, protocol allowed. So we can also check this one. And see here, if we want to list all, we can also check this one, list all things. But hyphen zone, which particular zone you want to check? Only just public zone. So see, only this one. If I am not using this one, see the thing, only this, because this is the active zone. By default, the zone that is allowed in a default mode, you can see. If I will change this, see, set default zone, set this one. This is the command to change your zone. If I change this to another, then this will not showing me. by default in a default mode. So what is the means of this one? Default means by default which zone you want to apply as a default zone. So you can apply this. See, if I want to apply this DMG as a default zone, then now check this one, which zone is allowed. So by using this particular command, we can check all the information related to your default zone only. That is at this time active. And we want to check how many zones are active. Hyphen list. See this one. That is active. That is not in this list. List. There is no command related to the active zone. Okay, no issue. So you can check this command and hyphen zone. You want to check the information related to any zone, just type that particular zone. So I want to check the information related to public zone. So now see, this is the information related to the public zone. If I am not type this one command, then this will show me the active zone. So these are all the commands related to the list. You can check the forward port. See, list, which one? Forward port. So you can check all the forward. So there is no port allowed because there is no forward port. And the interface also, you can check all the related information to the interface. So this is my interface. This interface is allowed in the default zone. So you can check the port information related to the, so you can also check the information related to the ports. So see, there is no port allowed. Rich rule, services, same the things. So these are all the commands related to the list. So anything you want to check, rich rules, you can also check protocol, port, interface, list ports. So these are the commands related to the list. All, this one also, this one also. And this is the command. So the command is that one. That is called get active zone. If you want to check all the active zones, so these are my two active zones. So this one is DMG. This port is allowed, and this one is live world. It means for the virtualization functionality. So this is my interface. The interface is virtual. And you want to check all the interface. So you can use this particular command, nmcli correction show. So this is my virtual interface that is allowed in live world functionality. So this is also a different one. So you can use all the commands related to a get. So this is the command related to the get. This one. If you want to check active zone, so these are all the active zone information you can check. So you can list information, get information, and what are the services and what is your default zone. If you want to check the default zone information, you can also check. So what are the important commands related to the get? So this one, these mostly used, and sometimes we use services and get zones information. And if you want to check the interface information, you can also use this particular command. So get active zone. So this is my active zone. What is your default zone? You can check. So this is your default zone. See this one. So we have two zones active, but by default that is a default zone. This is not my default zone. If I change this one by using the set command, set default zone. See, that is public. Now check this one. So what is my default zone? Now my default zone is this one. If I want to check all the active zone, you can also check these two zones that are active at this time. But which one is default? So you can use this particular command. So these two commands are most important in this. So you can use these one all. And if you want to add any particular service, suppose the last time we have discussed about the HTTP, and we also discussed the other commands also. So see, in your network, we have only one machine. See, what is the IP address of this machine? So that is 30. So change to host. This is also host. I will show you a practical related to the SSH. And SSH service by default that is allowed. And if I remove that particular service, so you are not able to access any machine by using the SSH functionality. So see, what is the IP address of this one? So the IP address of this machine is 1033. So I will change the IP address of this machine. So that is 10, it's a 130. So I will change this one. NMCLI connection modify. And I want to change this one, and IP version 4 dot addresses. This one is the command. And 192.168.10.30/24 and 30/24 IP version 4 dot method manual manual. Okay. So these are the modify ENS, this complete. So now NMCLI connection up. Check the connectivity to another machine. So the IP of this machine is 1033. See, 192.168.10.33. That is. So now I am able to check the connectivity. Then do this one, SSH. If this machine want to access your SSH, see this one. So username server1, okay. So root @ not, I'm use just IP 192.168.10. So the IP address of this machine is IPA. Check the IP address. This one. So what is the IP of this machine? That is 1030. See here, I am able to access this particular machine SSH, but I want to disable this by using the firewall. Then what I will do? So just type yes here and just password. So now you can access that particular machine. See here, what is the name of this particular machine? The machine name is server A, and this is the IP address. So these two machines can access each other by using the SSH, because this is the functionality that is enabled by default in my firewall. And I want to disable this. Firewall -cmd -list all. See this one. So this is allowed. If I remove this one, that I'm not able to access that particular machine by using this machine. So see. So remove this one. Remove. service, we want to remove the service name is SSH hyphen permanent. So this one. Then reload this particular service. Reload. See the result. Check again. So there is no SSH service allowed by the firewall. The firewall is my public. That is the default zone, public zone. In this, there is no service allowed in this firewall. So see the result. SSH. See. What is the result? No route to host. It means I am not allowed this particular route by this particular machine. So the machine is, the IP address of this machine is 1033. So for this type of activity, we want to allow, so we can also use firewall to allow any service, any port, same for the protocol. If I want to enable the masquerading, it means you know about the NAT functionality, NAT NAT. Anyone about the NAT? NAT NAT. This one. So this is known as the masquerading in the Linux. And if we want to allow any forward port, it means by default HTTP service is allowed on which port? This one. And I want to allow this particular port in 8080. So we can also use this functionality, port forwarding. Which particular source port you want to allow? ICMP and rich rules. So these all things, the same behavior. Suppose if I enable a port, the port number is by default, what is the port of SSH? Rahul, what is the port? What is the port number of SSH? (21, 22). 21 and 22, two ports. Only we use 22. 21 for the FTP. If you want to disable or enable the FTP service, so you can use 21. And if you want to enable and disable the SSH functionality, so you can use this one. So if I enable a port, which particular port? List port. See, there is no port allowed. If I enable the port 22, then this particular system can access my machine. So at this time, this particular error will appear. So see the result of port. If I allow this particular port, so we want to add this particular port. So this particular port is which particular service? TCP hyphen permanent. See, reload this one. So then check the list again. So now this particular port is allowed. Then I am able to access this particular machine. So firewall, by using the firewall, we can control any incoming traffic, any outgoing traffic. So see, now I am able to do SSH. So give the password. So see, now you can access the SSH because we have allowed a port. The port number is 22. So firewall can allow any types of traffic, any types of service, any types of port. So this is firewall. See here, there is no service allowed in. If I allow only just the service, so there is no need to add this one. You can add the service also, you can add the port also. If you want to remove this one, just type remove this port. Same command is same, just type remove in front of this add. Then reload this one again. reload, then check. See, there is no port allowed at this time and there is no service. So you are not able to access. See, this one, the same error. Password is for port for user. So password just for the credential. If you want to access any machine by using the network, so you should have the credential. Without credential, you are not able to access any machine. So port is the another thing, service is another thing, and credential is another thing. If you
Sir,
don't
I
have
am
the
asking that.
credential, so you are not able to access any other machine.
Hello, sir. I am asking regarding you use the password. The password is for root or for the port
Any
user.
credential means anything. What is the means of credential? Credential means username. It can be a root, it can be a regular user, anything. So credential is required to access any machine in a network. Suppose there is no credential set in your remote machine, so you are not able to access that particular machine.
Okay.
So credential, it can be by using the root also, and it can be by using the regular user also. Anything. Okay, Rahul? Any other doubt?
Okay, sir. No, sir. I was just confused that you put the password came out. So I thought that it is for root user or for the port user, port number.
Okay.
That is the reason.
So if I enable the service, so last time I enabled the port and now we are access that particular service. So we should have to enable this in firewall. If there is no service, so we call the Linux is secured because there is no service allowed in this one. Only just SSH is allowed by default. But if I remove that one, so that particular service cannot be accessed through the network. So see, if I want to add a service, the service is SSH. And what is the functionality of this permanent? What is the means of this one? If I am not using this one, then what will happen? Gitu, what is the motive of this option? This option. This is my command, and this is the first argument, this is the second argument. Then what is the use of this one? Okay. If I am not using this parameter, then see the result. This is allowed. But on for the temporary basis, if I am not using this one, the permanent parameter, so this is allowed. See, so there is no need to reload functionality. So just for the temporary, if I use this one command, this one, then see the behavior. There is no SSH service here. So if you want to allow any service, any port, and any activity that you want to allow just for the temporary basis, for the run time only, not for the booting time. So you don't need to add the permanent parameter. If you want to allow any service during the booting at any time, so you should have to enter this particular parameter, this one. So this is for the permanent. At the booting time, that particular service will allow. If I reload the service, then that will work. So for the temporary, there is no need for the reloading functionality. So now there is no SSH. If I enable this one, permanent. So see again, no service is allowed. So we have to requirement to reload this. But for the temporary, there is no need to reload that particular firewall service. So for this, reload is must. So if you want to apply any service, any port, source, protocol, masquerading, anything, you should have to need this one. Okay. So now you can check this one. So this is allowed. So this is about the service and about the ports that I have shown by using the practical in a real scenario environment. So if you want to add any service, suppose this is a service, by default the port number is 22. Suppose if you want to change the port, so you should have to enter in this particular also. If you use this particular service in a different port, then you have to need to add that particular port. So you should have to know about the how to add the ports, how to add service. So suppose if you want to allow multiple ports at the same time or multiple services at the same time, so just type this one. Suppose we want to allow a service more than one, just HTTP also, comma, HTTPS also. So just you need to just type this curly bracket. And we want to allow this one permanently also. Add service. hyphen permanent, then just type this one. Okay, this is the error. So these two services will be added in this particular permanently, and you should have to reload this one and then check list all the services. Just you want to list services only, this one command. So this is allowed, this is allowed. So you can add multiple service at a time. If you want to add one service, just type one service only. If you want to add multiple services at a time, so just curly bracket you should have to need. Same for the ports also. If I want to allow the port 20-21/TCP, you can add the series also. So this will allow 20, 21, 22, 23, and I want to allow till 25, suppose. So all the ports will be added at a one time. So see this one, reload this one, then check all the ports. See, all the ports will be allowed. If you, because in a company environments, there are a lot of ports that are allowed in a series. So if you want to add all the ports in a series, so you can add these one. So these are all about the ports and the services. So see, these all commands that I have completed. This one, if you want to add only one service, just type only one service name. At a time you want to add multiple services, so you can also add curly bracket. Same, permanently reload and list services. So these all will be completed. This one also complete. I have completed this one also. This is about the ports. This one. So this is for the series. This will complete it. If you want to set the zone in a default, you can also set this one. If you want to get the default zone, so this is the command, set default zone, get default zone. or I have completed. This one is the rest. Suppose if you want to add a specific service for the specific zone, so we should have to need this one. This is the source. Allow this particular service, the service name is MySQL. And I want to allow this particular service for this particular network for all the subnets, that is 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, anything. The last till 254. All the IPs we want to allow. So first you should need to add the source. Then after then that particular service that you want to allow. So now check, this particular service will be allowed and you can check. So this is the last one that I will show you. See. List source, list all. See this one. There is no source allowed. If you want to add any particular source, so you can add this one. Because I want to allow a service. Suppose I want to allow a service of 10.10.10.0/24. So only this particular, it can be from 0 to 255. All the IPs, you can add this in a source. So only this particular source is allowed. If anyone entered 11.11.11.1, so this packet will be rejected. Only the source that come from 10, again 10, again 10. And it can be anything. It can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anything that will be allowed. So this is the behavior of this particular source. So see how to add this. So just add source. And what is your source? What is the IP address range? This is my source. The source is C. So what is my network address? This is my IP. NMCLI connection show, ENS. See in the last. So that is the source. If you want to check, see here, this one. So you should enter the network address only this particular. This is your IP address. This is the client IP. Client IP can be anything, but this is the destination. It means if you want to go in this particular destination, that particular source will be allowed. So destination, it can be your destination, it can be your source. So this is my source. So add this one, just copy this one. See, and from this to this, all, copy all the things. Add source. Okay. Then shift insert. Just type and shift insert. So for particular zone, So you want to add the particular zone also, so use this one command. Then hyphen zone. So you can add this in a starting or in a end. There is no change. You can add zone in a last and starting. Then zone is, you want to apply this for the public zone. And for the internal zone, any zone, home zone. So any zone you want to apply, just you want to check how many zones. So these are all your zones. Just type 2 times tab. So there is no need to remember all of these things. Just type 2 times tab, then you can check which is my zone. Suppose I want to add this particular service for this particular zone. So you can add this one. If you apply this permanently, then just type hyphen permanent. Successfully added. And you want to replicate this one also, so you should have to reload this one. So all the changes will be replicated in your network. So just reload this one. And if you want to check this again, list all. So you can see here. So, okay. I add this particular for the zone, that is internal zone. So see, there is no result here. I am adding this particular for this particular. So add this service is allowed, this service is allowed, MDNS, but there is no MySQL is allowed. If I want to add this particular service for this particular range, so you should also have to add that particular service also, source also, and service also. So in a company environment, this particular source is allowed for this particular service. So these two things will be added if you want to allow MySQL for this particular network. So how to add that particular service? So hyphen permanent hyphen zone, that is internal zone, and we want to add service. So just type service, and which type of service? So that is MySQL, this one, and this will be added permanently for which particular zone? Only this particular zone. So you can add a specific zone also. Then reload this one again, then check all this. See, now we are able to access this particular MySQL service in this network only. So you can allow which particular service you want to add, which particular network. So these two things will be completed. The same behavior for the add port, source port, ICMP, rich rules. But these are not the part of your syllabus. Only these two parts that will discuss in your topic. So I also added this one also. And if you want to add any interface, so see here, there's no interfaces allowed. So this will not work. So you should have to enter the interface also. Because for any incoming traffic, outgoing traffic, so you should have to enter the interface also. So you can add which particular command? Add this particular command, that is interface. If you add interface, the interface will appear. Then these all services can work properly. Without entering the interface, these not work. At this time, there is no interfaces allowed. So this is the behavior of firewall. Get, if you want to check how many active zones, so you can see this is also your active zone. But there is no source allowed. It means there is no interface allowed, only this particular source. So in this particular interface, if you add the interface, so that particular interface and for that particular source, that is allowed for internal zone. So this is the behavior and this will complete. And the last time this I have also completed, then this chapter will complete. So any question regarding this, you can ask. Rahul and Gitu. Any question regarding this firewall? See your book. What is the practicals in your book? Only just 4 commands in your syllabus. But I have told lot of commands. Okay, Rahul. See, these are the practical part in your book. Only these 4 and 5 commands. Last one that I told you, these are the part. Only these commands: set default zone, permanent, internal zone. So there is no command. See here, there is no commands. Only in this exercise, just install this particular service. So this is the practical part. Enable this particular service. So see the result. If we want to add, if we want to open this particular web page, then what is the error? No route to host, because that particular service is not allowed in firewall also. So if you want to add that one, so see here, this is HTTP and this is HTTPS. So see, what is the port number of HTTPS? 443. And what is the port number of SSH? HTTP, that is 80. So no root host. See here the result. No route to host, because that particular service is not allowed in firewall. If you enable that particular service in firewall, then you are able to access any service by using any explorer. If you type, so this is the command line explorer, that is called curl. It's a command line explorer. So see the result. So see, this is called mask NF table. So see this one, that is called NFT table, that is mask. And what is allowed? Firewall D is allowed. And now check. All the service will work. See here, only just in a graphical mode. Go to this networking, firewall, add service. You can also add by using the GUI mode also. But I told you by using the commands. If you add that particular service in firewall, see this one, firewall page will appear. And if you add this particular service in firewall, then the firewall will allow that particular service. So see, add service button. And which service? So now you are able to open that one, but only by using the HTTPS, because you are here HTTPS service is allowed. See this one, only just HTTPS. So you are not able to access by using the HTTP. So there is an error. But if you are using HTTPS here, so that particular web, so see, there is no error. So this is all about the firewall. So now this chapter will complete. Now, I will start this particular chapter. So that is managing basic storage. So have you knowledge about the storage and any disk management functionality in Windows? So tell me, what is the functionality that you can use in Windows also? Rahul, any knowledge about? Do you know about the Windows disk management? Disk management. Have you knowledge about basic disk, dynamic disk? So see, we have a SSD in my machine. So by default, if you purchase any hard disk from the market, so that is basic. By default, that is basic disk. See, I will show you. In Windows first, disk mgmt.msc. So see here. So what is here? So disk 0. We have only one hard disk. So that is disk 0. And this hard disk is basic in a nature. If we want to change this, so we can, so we only have two things. The first one is basic disk. The second one is dynamic disk. If I enable this particular dynamic functionality, so we can create volumes. See here, spine volume, stray volume, mirror volume, read volume. These same volumes you can use in Linux also. The disk management functionality that can be in your Windows and that can be in your Linux operating system, any Linux operating system, all are the same. All the basic functionality will same. The interface can be changed. This is your graphical interface and I'm using the command line interface. The behavior will change, but all the basic concept are same. So you can use that hard disk. Hard disk is basic. So in basic disk, you can create the partition. So see here, this is called primary partition. And at this time, this is called unallocated space. So if we have the space in my hard disk, then we are able to create the partition. The partition can be primary, extended, and logical. So see the result. So we have two types of disk, the basic disk and dynamic disk. So how many partitions we can create in a basic disk? G2. How many partitions we can create in a hard disk, not a basic disk? In a hard disk, how many partitions you can create in your laptop, in your computer, and any other device? 4 partitions. And how many logical drives you can create? 26. No, it's wrong. Not 26. My question is how many logical drives? It means logical drives, or we can say that logical partition. So how many logical partitions you can create? You all know about the GPT and MBR. You know about the MBR? Anyone know about the MBR? Okay, it's called master boot record. Good. So in an MBR, you can create just 15 partitions. How many partitions? 15 partitions. The 4 can be a primary. So in an MBR, only just it support partitions. How many partitions you can create in MBR? Only just 4 partitions. If you want to use more than 4 partition, so create 3 primary partition and 1 extended partition and 11 logical drives. It means how many logical partitions you can create? 11. How many extended partition you can create? Only 1. And you can create 4 primary partition. But if you create 4 primary partition, you are not able to create any other partition because MBR support only 4 partition max to max. These 4 partition can be 3 primary and 1 extended, and in this particular container, that extended partition known as just container, and in this you can create 11 logical drive. But nowadays we using the GPT functionality. As you know, in this we can create 128 partition. How many partitions? 128. So these 2 functionality can work. It can be your Windows machine, it can be your Linux machine, any types of operating system you are using. So these 2 functionality you can see. The first one is MBR, the second one is GPT. So I will discuss all the theoretical portion one by one. See this one. See, in a hard disk, the hard disk can be a basic disk and it can be a dynamic disk. As you see, this is my basic disk. In this basic disk, how many partitions you can create? Just 4 partitions. See the result. We only have 2 functionality. The first one is MBR, the second one is GPT. So this is converted to the MBR, and in this MBR we can create only just 4 partitions. Only just 4 partitions. That I will show you practically also. So in a basic disk we can create partition. The partition can be 4 partitions. And in this we have 2 types of partition styles. The first one is MBR, the second one is GPT. MBR means master boot record, GPT means GUID partition table. So MBR that support only just a hard disk max to max 2 TB. So this is the disadvantage of MBR. It support only just 2 TB of hard disk. It means we can create a partition max to max a 2 TB. Suppose in a server environment we want to create a 10 TB of partitions, so this cannot support. For that type of functionality we can use GPT also. So GPT is the current one that you can use 8 zettabyte. So this is the max to max supporting functionality. It support only 2 TB of partition, it support 8 zettabyte. So in MBR, you can create how many partitions? 4 partitions you can create. These 4 can be a primary also. If you use these partitions as a primary, then you cannot create any extended partition. It means 0. In this container, you cannot create any logical drive also. It means there is no logical drives can be contained in this particular container. So this is my scenario 1. This is my step 1 method. If you use this particular scenario, so these types of functionality can work. If I use this particular scenario 2, it's my not a step, it's called first scenario. This is my second. If you use this particular functionality, so you can create 4 partition. So create just 3 primary partition and 1 extended partition. So these 4 partition will complete because MBR support only 4 partition. So if anyone asks how many partitions you can create in a MBR, just 4. But I want to use more than 4 partition, so we should have 1 extended partition In this extended partition, we can create how many logical drives? 11 logical drives. So this is about the MBR. So this is the theoretical portion about the MBR. What is MBR? Just a master boot record. In master boot record, we can create these types of functionality. If I'm using the GPT, GUID partition table, so how many partitions we can create? We can create 128 primary partition, and these all 128 are the logical partitions. There is no concept regarding extended partition, logical drives, and it support a drive. The capacity of this particular drive is 8 zettabyte. If you want to discuss about the dynamic, so we have 5 types of dynamic volumes. The first one is simple volume. The second one is span volume. Third one is stray volume. Fourth, mirror. Then last one is red volume. If I want to create a simple volume in my machine, so we have required hard disk. So we should have one hard disk for the simple partition, 2 hard disks for the span partition, minimum 2 hard disks for the strip also. It support only 2 hard disks, not more than 2. So in mirror, we only use 2 hard disks, not 1 and not more than 1. More than 2, only 2. In red, there are different types of functionality. We can use red 5, we can use red 6 also, and we can also use red 11. That is, it required 4 hard disk minimum. So this functionality also work in Linux also, same way. But this is for the company perspective. It means used in company environment, not for the home users. So in this we have 2 functionality. The first one is MBR that come in 1982. So all the BIOS support the MBR. In MBR, how many partition schemes and how many partitions you can create? 4 primary partition. In these 4 primary, you can create next to next 15 partitions. It support only just 2 TB of hard disk. So this is all about MBR. So this is, we can create MBR. This is the first partition. This is primary partition. This is again primary. This is again primary. And this is all the extended, this one. In this extended partition, we can create the logical one. This one, again this one. So we can also create in this, how many? 11 logical drives. So these are 11 plus 1 extended and plus 3 equal to 15 partition. So this. So only MBR support this one. So this is called legacy MBR scheme. So these 2 types of scheme we can use. The first one is MBR. The second one is scheme is GPT. So this is your new for disk partitioning functionality. So what is about the GPT? See this one. So it support the UEFI BIOS. UEFI means Unified Extensive Firmware Interface. So the combination of hardware, the combination of software as well as will become the firmware. So BIOS is known as not only hardware, not only software, it's a combination of software and hardware. So that will become a firmware. So what is BIOS? BIOS is a firmware. So in this UEFI, how many partitions you can create? So you can create 128 partitions. It support 64-bit architecture and it support up to 8 zettabyte ZIB. Zettabyte or also called JB byte. If I use this one, ZB, this one, ZB, it's called zettabyte. If I use ZI and again B, so it's called JB byte. So how many TB are in this particular JB byte? So that is 8 billion terabyte. And if I create the partition, all the partitions have its own UUID. It means that is called global unique identifier. That is called GUI, GUID, global unique identifier for any partition. These all 128 partition have its own GUID. So this is the behavior of MBR and GPT that support in your system. In this, we have two GPT partition. The first one is primary GPT and the last one is backup GPT. It means support the GPT functionality. And in this, all are the partitions are the primary. In this, we can also create primary partition. And how many primary we can create? 128 partition. So this is all about MBR and GPT. Any question regarding this MBR and GPT, you can ask. Then I will discuss the practical part first. Then again, we will move to the parted functionality. First, we will discuss about AppDisk functionality. Then I will discuss about the parted functionality. AppDisk, that is not a part of your syllabus, but mostly used in a company environment, this one. So we have two functionality. The first one is parted. The second one is AppDisk. So that is called AppDisk. So we can use to create the partition this functionality. We can also have another functionality that is called GDisk, graphical disk. So AppDisk means fixed disk. Parted means partition editor. So first I will start with AppDisk. Then I will move to this one. So any question regarding MBR and GPT, you can ask. Then I will start the practical portion. Rahul and Geeti. Any question regarding this one? So see the practical part. Okay. So how to create partition in Linux? First, I will see I have any hard disk or not. So there is no hard disk for creating the partition. So first, I will shut down my machine. Then add the hard disk. How to add? Just go to edit virtual machine. Then add, select your hard disk. And you can use ID, SCSI, SATA, NVMe. So just I use in a company environments, you use just SCSI, small computer system interconnect. Just create this one. So I will create two hard disks. Not only two, three hard disks I will create. I will create 3 hard disks. So just SCSI, then 20. So we have 3 hard disks, 20 GB, 20 GB, 20 GB. And this is my OS. In this particular hard disk, we have installed the OS. This is reserved only for the operating system. But if you start this, there will be error. See this one. If you want to, if I remove this one, see again another error. See this one. If you add the hard disk, so that will not understand why using which particular hard disk you want to start your machine, because at this time we have 4 hard disks in my system. So this not understand which is your bootable device. So for this one, if you want, if you add the another hard disk, so you should have to provide the first booting information. Then my machine can understand why using this particular hard disk we should boot all the time. So first shut down this one, again go to this one, then power, then go to firmware, it means your BIOS. So provide the booting functionality first. At this time you have hard disk, and how many hard disks? You have NVMe also, SCSI, 3 SCSI hard disk. So this is the last one. So change this. So by using the plus sign, move this on first. So this is my first device that I want to boot, my OS, and I want to add this one in the last. So use minus sign. So this is my, see, for the first, and these are for to store my data. So this is always the booting device, because my operating system containing this particular hard disk. So when you start my machine, anytime it will boot by using this particular NVMe, non-volatile memory. It's called NVMe, means it's my SSD hard disk, solid state drive. So by using this particular SSD, we want to boot my machine anytime. So keep this on the first, on the top. So my machine can work by using this particular hard disk. So save this one by using F10 functionality. So use F10 button, then yes, then you are able to start your machine. So see, if you add another hard disk in your system, so you should have to change the BIOS also. Now we are able to access my OS. See, now check your hard disk is available or not. See, this is the command fdisk. Fdisk means fixed disk. You want to change the behavior of this particular disk. It means if you want to add any partition, you want to remove any partition, you can list any partition. So you should use this particular command. fdisk-l means list. See all the hard disk. So see here, the operating system is contained in this one. So which is why bootable partition. So this one is my bootable partition. So star is here. So this is my bootable partition. And these are all other partitions that contain in this particular NVMe hard disk. So this is my hard disk name, non-volatile memory. This is my first hard disk, so it's called 0. This is my first partition, it's called partition 1, 2, 3, 5. See, this is my another hard disk. So that is /dev SDA. This is called /dev SDB. And this is the last one. And the size of this one is 20 GB. But at this time, there is no partition available in this. And if you want to create the partition and you want to store the partition, store the data in this partition, so you should have to create the partition first. Then you are able to store the data. So how many types of disk that you can use? The disk can be a HDA. The disk can be a SATA. The disk can be a SCSI. The disk can be a virtual. And the disk can be a SSD. So how I can understand this is my SATA disk, this is my SCSI, this is my virtual, this is my SSD. So for the SSD, that is called NVMe, because in my Linux NVMe, all are the files. So this is the file related to the SSD. If you have the any virtual disk available in your machine, that is called VD, virtual disk. If you have first disk, that is called VDA. If you have another disk, VDB, and so on. For SCSI and SATA, all are the same. For SCSI and SATA, this one, from this to this. That is called SDA. If you have the first hard disk, it's called SDA. If you have second hard disk, it's called SDB. And if you have the another one, SDC, and so on. But if you have the old functionality, that is called hard disk SDA, HDA. If you have another hard disk, HDB. And same for SDC. But at this time, we have which particular hard disk? This one only. So my first hard disk is C, SDA, same, because this is for the, and this is one SSD. So the name of this particular hard disk is NVMe. So I can understand which one is the SSD, which one is the SATA, which one is the SDA. So for the better understanding, we should have the knowledge about these functionality. If you have any HD hard disk, hard drive, so it's called HDA. For the ID, which type of functionality? The starting, that is called IDE. Sorry, IDE, or it's also known as ATA. Then after that will become SATA, Serial Advanced Technology Attachment. It's called Integrated Drive Electronics. It's called Advanced Technology Attachment. It has 40 pin. It's a 40 pin connector. Starting, we use the hard disk, that is 40 pin connector. Then after then, we use 7 pin connector. So recently we use this one. In a company environments, we use this one. This has different connector and different types of SCSI hard disk available. So for the home users, mostly recently time we using this one, SSD. It's called solid state drive. The speed of this one is very fast. That recently you can use this one. So the name of this particular hard disk is NVMe. It's called non-volatile memory. Just work as a memory because the memory behavior is very fast. So it's an example of EEPROM. If you know about the EEPROM, electrical erasable, so that is called this one. So if you want to create the partition, then how to create. Just give me 1 minute, then I will start this. Hello, now I am audible for you. My voice clear? Rahul and Gitu. Okay, so I will start. So what are the steps to create partition? So this is my practical how to create partition. So first create a partition by using fdisk. Then after creating the partition, update partition table. Partition table. This is the second step. After updating this, you should format that particular partition by using utility, by using ext4, by using ext4, the latest functionality XFS, any types of file system. After the formatting, you should have to mount that particular partition in any empty folder. It means empty directory. So this is the first behavior. Create the partition, update the partition table, format that particular partition, then mount that particular partition. Then you are able to use that one, use that partition, and you are able to store the data in that partition. So these are the steps that I will use. So first, use fdisk command in this, /dev. In this we have a hard disk. This time we have 3 hard disks. The first one is SDA, the second one is SDB, the third one is SDC. So these 3 hard disks we have, but there is no partition appear in this hard disk. So we want to create. So go to this particular disk. So it's called a utility. Change remain this one. So this is called MS-DOS functionality. This is my label, and this is the number for this one. And you want to create partition, but I don't know what are the commands. Then what I will do? So use this one. Just type M. It will show all the helps related to that one. So see this one. This is called DOS. DOS means disk operating system. This is my MBR functionality. And if I want to create partition by using the MBR, so if you want to create the partition, or if you want to delete the partition, you want to list the partition, so you can use these generic functions. So D means delete, L means list, N means create, P means print, T means change. If you want to write that one, so you can save the partition information, because these all work will happen in a memory. When you save this one, then the behavior will take effect. So this is called Q for quit the partition. And if you want to assign the label, G for GPT, O for DOS, and if you want to create partition related to the Arix operating system, Sun Solaris operating system, so these are the different one. But you can also use this one and this one. So this is for the help. And I want to create a partition, then what I will do? Just use this one. So see, just type N and see this one. Just type N. N means to create the partition. And how many partitions we can create? Only just 4 partition we can create. Only just 4 partition. We can create only 4 partition. and 3 primary partition and 1 extended partition. How many extended? We can create only just 1. How many primary we can create? 4. If I create just 4 primary, there is no functionality for the extended. So the behavior is that if you want to use more than 4 partition, so just create 3 primary partition and 1 extended. So this will complete. And in this extended partition that is known as container, you can create 11 logical partition. So there are 3 types of partition: primary, extended, and the last one is logical partition. So see the result. If I want to create the primary partition, so type just P for primary. And what the number you want to assign, just provide 1. And what is your first sector? This is your first sector, that is 2048. So just type enter 2048. What is your last sector? It means how much size you want to assign. I want to create a partition of 1 GB. So just type plus sign. So see here, this is your plus sign. And how much size? Suppose 2 GB. So I want to create a partition of 2 GB. Just enter. So now see, this partition will be created. See here, this partition will be created. And you want to check this one. So for checking the partition, what I can use? Sorry, this one, print the partition table. So see, just type P. I have created 1 partition. In this SDA hard disk, we have this first partition, that is called SDA1. And I want to create another partition, just type again P for primary. Enter, just again enter, just give the size, that is 1G. So 2 partition will be created. Then again create the third one. Just enter, just give size 200 MB. This will be created. Then again last one that I want to create. The last one is 500 and M. So now see, how many partitions at this time we have? We have, this is the partition ID of the primary partition and logical also. So this is 2 GB partition, this is 1 GB partition, this is 200 and 500 MB partition. Now we are able to create the partition again. See. So see the result. See this particular result. We are not able to create. See, if we create 4 primary, 4 partition, then no extended partition. See the result, Rahul. This is your answer. If you create 4 primary partition, then you are not able to create any the other one also. So Rahul, your answer will be completed. See,
Sir, my question was that if we have created 3 partition and 1 extended partition is there, then 11 logical partition is also there.
see, how many partitions you can create in MBR?
15.
And in these 15s, if the behavior of MBR is that only we can create 4 partitions. This is the default behavior, not this one. This is not a default behavior. What is the default behavior of MBR?
4.
This one. How many partitions we can create? Only just 4. But MBR say one more concept. So we can create only, there are 2 types of partition, not 3 types of. We have only 2 types of partition, the primary and extended. We have only 2 types of partition. The first one is primary and the second one is extended. So if we create 4 primary partition, then we are not able to create any extended partition. It means 0 extended partition. So we have another scenario. So you should create 3 primary and 1 extended. So this behavior will complete. It means this will become 4. This also become 4. But in this, there is no logical drive. We cannot create any logical drive also. It means 0 logical drive. If you create only just 4 primary, this is the behavior, same behavior just like XP. In XP, we can only create 4 partition, but that are primary. So in XP, Microsoft will provide a functionality. You should create 3 primary, 1 extended. In this, you can create the logical drives. Same behavior for the Windows also. And Linux, this is also the same behavior. So now your doubt has been clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, if I want to create the partition, create more partition, first replace a primary with extended. So it will show the message for you. So first delete that one. So delete one partition. See, this partition will be deleted, the last one. Then see again. At this time we have 3 primary partition. So what I will do? Just create n. See the result. By default, what is in a default? So it will show you. Create extended partition. See, if I delete see this one, at this time how many partitions we have? 2 partitions. If you create a new partition, that what is the behavior? See, what is the default behavior? It will show you just this third partition will be a primary. So just enter. Then what is the default behavior? Create this one, just enter. And what is the default behavior? This one, because this is your starting number. So just enter. And this is the default behavior. It means if I just enter, it will create the whole size. It will assign the whole size for this one. But I don't want this type of behavior. I want just 200 MB of space. So then you should provide this one. If you just enter, the default behavior is it will allocate all the size for this particular partition. So here, this is the default behavior, this is the default behavior, this is also the default behavior. But in this, we should have to allocate the size. How much size you want to assign? Just this one. Now, this Linux partition will be created. If you want to see this one, see. And now, what is the default behavior? It will ask for the to create, not for the primary. It will say for the extended partition. See this one. So just enter, again just enter, again just enter. So you should not have to assign any number. It means size in this. So allocate whole space for the extended. Then you are able to use whole disk to create logical drives. Same for this one. See this particular chart. We have this partition primary, this primary, this primary. Allocate the whole size. It can be anything. For which one? This one. So these 3 primary, 1 extended will become. So If any asks to you in MBR, how many partitions we can create? Only 4. If anyone told how many total partition we can create, these can be 15. But how? Just create 3 primary, 1 extended, then you are able to create these one. So it can be total 15. But MBR support how many partitions? Only 4. So this is the functionality. This is your MBR. We support 1 primary, 2, 3 plus 4. This quota has been completed by the MBR. And this is just type a jugaad type. It means this provide a functionality. If you want to use more than 4 partition, you should use this particular space just as a container. And in this container, you are able to create 11 logical partition. How many partition? 11. So this is a good concept that you can use in your environment. Then you are able to create these 15 partition. In these 15, 3 primary, 1 extended and 11 logical. So this is the whole thing. Now create. So this is my primary, this is my primary, this is my primary. And this is the idea of extended partition. So how much space we have at this time in this particular container? It means in this particular extended partition. So see, this partition work as a container. And in this container, you are able to create the logical partitions. So see, just type n again, then see this one. This is your logical partition. And you are able to create logical one also. So just assign 4G also and the other one. So this is functionality about the creating partition. So any doubt regarding the creation? Then save this one. So you just W. Then how many function we have do? We have created. Then this is my another function. Then update the partition table. See, that is part probe command. PRT part probe to update the partition table. And which is the disk? This is my disk. So this is for update the partition table. Then this is the next functionality, format. mkfs dot ext. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4. So use this one. This is the latest one, 4. And what is my partition? /dev. In this dev A, we have a partition. Partition number is win. This one, this one, this one. Which partition you want to format? Suppose this one. So just type this. So this will be formatted. So see this. This partition will be format, and if you want to use this one also, this will be format. So this will format this particular partition, and I want to format the other partition by using the other functionality. It means XFS. This is the latest one that used in RHEL 7 and 8 also. This one. If you want to format the extended partition, then see, you cannot format the extended partition because extended just a container. So you should format which one? So you are not able to access this partition. In this, we can access this one because this partition is created in this one. So you cannot format this partition. So if you want to format that one, only just logical and primary you can use to store the data. And in this container SDF4, this is a extended partition. In this, you create this particular. So format this one only by using this. So this will be formatted. See here. And after the formation, what you will do? See, mount the partition, this one. So create a folder mkdir slash mnt. In a mnt, we want to create a partition that is prt part 1. This is my folder name. See, mnt, we have a folder name is part 1. At this time, what we have in part 1? Nothing. And you want to mount that particular partition, you should use this particular command, mount /dev sda1, and which particular location? This one. So this is the command. This is your partition name is sda1, and this is the location where you want to mount this. It means this is the location. By using this particular location, you can access this particular space, this one. So see, just use df-st command to check. So this partition will be mounted in this one. So see, ls this one, then you are able to access this one, and see mnt part 1, store the data. Now you are able to store the data. Touch data 1. If you want to check this in a graphical mode, see the result. In this, we have the TMP also. See this one. What is TMP? Where is the TMP? This one. In this TMP, we have a folder. The folder name is not TMP, that is called MNT. MNT, this one. And we have a folder. Check the size of this particular folder. See this one. How much size is it have at this time? 1.9 G. It means, see, how much size we have? This one. So this particular size allocated for this particular location. So this location is known as mount point. Mounted on. So this size will automatically available on this particular location. So this is called mount point. And this is my partition. And this partition can be browsable, can be accessible from this particular location. And how much size this particular partition have? This one. If I unmount this one, see the result. So at this time, how much space we have? 1.9. If I unmount this, you mount. Which particular? This one. See the result again. Again, see this one. How much space we have? It means the space that allocate for the this one space you at this time have. This size, that is this one. Because this partition containing this particular location. Because this MNT folder available in this one. So this is the concept, how to use that particular partition. So I have completed what types of functionality. See again, one more time. These are the steps to create the partition. First, create a partition, update the partition table, format that particular partition, mount that partition, then you are able to use that particular partition space. So these are the steps. In the next session, it means on Tuesday, I will discuss this again one more time, and I will also discuss the other options also. If you have any doubt regarding to this. So MBR partition do in 2 TB. Yes, if you have more than 2 TB of hard disk, you are not able to create the partition on that. MBR support only just 2 TB of hard disk. Max to max 2 TB. Single partition space can be at 2 TB, max to max, not more than 2 TB. So this is the limitation of MBR. So mostly in company environment, we use MBR also, but for 2 TB. If we want to use more than 2 TB, So we should use GPT functionality. Okay. So now it's all about the creation, and the next session I will discuss the further information and further commands related to that one. Okay. So I will end the session. Thank you.